After years of waiting, we finally get a good adaptation of Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters in Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2, which is of course created by Rick Riordan as well as Jonathan E. Steinberg, starring Walker Scobell, Leah Sava Jeffries, and Ayran Simhadri. This second season of the show is about Percy Jackson, who returns, of course, to Camp Half-Blood with his Cyclops brother Tyson, only to find out that the tree of Thalia Grace is failing, and only a quest to get the Golden Fleece will save her. That, of course, requires a journey into the Sea of Monsters. So we're going to dive into this show and help you decide whether or not it's the right one to watch as a Christian right now. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I'm your host Tim, and we exist to help Christians live in the world, not of the world, by utilizing our convictions in the movies and shows we watch. Percy Jackson Season 2 is rated TV PG for some action and violence, a little bit of blood, and some intense action sequences. So we're going to dive into any convictions you may have that may prevent you from watching this show, any theological themes present within it, and wrap it up with my own personal thoughts on the series. Without further ado, let's dive into the Christian Conviction Meter. If this is your first time here, the Christian Conviction Meter is 5 convictions that distract or hinder your relationship with Jesus. Ultimately, it is a guide, tool, and resource to help you figure out whether or not Percy Jackson aligns with the convictions that God has given you. And I will say, starting off here with the violence and gore section of the CCM, the action here is a little bit more dialed up in this one. It seems like they're kind of doing what shows have done in the past, which is as the years go on, they slowly increase the intensity, which is how the books are in actual reading them. But we do see that once again here with this season. It's a little bit more. There are chariot races at the beginning of the show. There's a lot more action. There's a lot more explosions. It, of course, has the usual suspects in terms of weaponry with swords, spears, knives, shields, bows and arrows, all that sort of stuff that you expect from Greek-era weaponry. And so all of that is contained within it. There is also, of course, the Ironclad, which if you know the books, you know that it is a submarine that is used within the show here, which does spray some fire from its turrets, like gunfire specifically. And of course, there is just a lot of action, like I said, within this show. A lot more. There's a giant battle that happens at the end of the season, which is done really well. And of course, there is a lot of that. The biggest thing to note that is a massive departure from this season going into last one, there is a lot more kind of blood that is a part of this show. I would say it's a little more moderate this season compared to last one. With the last one, the only real bit you saw other than some cuts and scrapes was Ares' blood, and that's yellow, not red. So all of that to say there's a little bit more blood contained within this show, whether it's a stab wound to the chest or it's just some coughing up. There's a lot more blood in this season. All of that to say, though, it is still on par with the previous season and action kind of surrounding this one. So we are going to give this a 3 out of 5 in this category. Our next 2 categories are lust and substances, and I'm grouping them together because there really isn't much of anything here that we do see in this season. Don't have to really worry about anything here. It's going to be 0 out of 5 for both of these categories. Our next category is profanity, and there is not a lot here. There are a few uses of OMG and things of that sort that are contained within the show. And then there is the word screw that's used, but that's about it. So nothing else language-wise to worry about, but I'd rather be on the safe side than sorry with this one. So we are going to give this a 1 out of 5. Our last category is intense/horror scenes. While this is not a horror series, there are some more creepier, intense elements within this season. The biggest one here is the fact that the sirens are a part of this season. If you know anything about the sirens from Greek mythology, they prey upon heroes and essentially give them like illusions of success or the thing they desire most. in the world, and then they capture them and eat them. And so we see that in this season. Now, it obviously is not explicitly on camera. It is more in the background as it kind of like pans over to a helmet, because we do see an unfortunate victim that is occurring in this season. That's probably the creepiest and most intense part of the season. The other thing to note here, of course, is any of the monsters, Cyclops, things of that sort, can be creepy, intense, things of that sort. I also did mention there are explosions and fire and all that stuff that's a part of this season. We also, of course, see some things blowing up, like a ship blows up in this season, and a few other things to that same vein as well. Kronos, of course, is a bigger part of this season, and his voice can be very, very creepy. We still have yet to see him on screen, but his voice and things of that sort can be pretty terrifying for younger viewers. And of course, the battles are intense, especially that last battle where we just see the rage of Luke and Percy and all these other things that contain within that battle. There's a lot of just intensity in that, because it is demigod versus demigod, skill versus skill in that one. So those are all things to kind of keep in mind. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 in this category, just to be on the safe side. Again, it's a little more intense in this season compared to the last one. So our grand total on the conviction meter is going to be an 8 out of 25. Of course, the biggest things to note here with this season in particular is it's pretty moderate, and of course it's violence and gore, and it is a little more than moderate in its intensity and things of that sort, and we will continue to see that as we go into the next several seasons of the show. Even so, if anything we talked about compromises your convictions in any way, shape, or form, don't worry about watching the show. No show is more important than your relationship with Jesus, so make sure to keep him first. That leads us into a discussion on some theological themes that are present within Percy Jackson. And obviously the biggest thing here is this show deals with Greek mythology. It deals with the Greek gods and lore and things of that sort. So we see monsters and places and spaces that are, of course, themed to or about these Greek stories. Odysseus and the Odyssey is mentioned. Circe and like Circe and all these other different characters, and Poseidon and Cyclops and giants and Kronos and Zeus and all these other characters that are very much a part of the Greek mythos are still contained within this season. Although one cool thing I did kind of see throughout this season is one character kind of learns to develop friendships and start trusting people. And the reason I find that very interesting is because that is precisely how God intended us to live. See, obviously, we are not designed to live alone. We are not designed to live just a simple, quiet life by ourselves. We're not meant to be lonely. Let's just put it that way. So God designed us to live in community with other people, and most importantly, with other believers, right? We're designed to live in community with other believers. We're designed to live with other people, right? God wants us to have relationship not just with him, but also with others. And so that was something that kind of stuck out to me. Again, not necessarily the main point of her character journey in that, but it is something I noticed and something that stuck out. And so just thought I'd share that with you. That leads us into our last topic as we dive into my thoughts on Percy Jackson Season 2. Comparing this season to the early 2010 film, it's a night and day difference. They went very big spectacle in the Sea of Monsters film. And this one, it doesn't do that, but it hones in on the core aspects of the book and really makes it very, very strong. I thoroughly enjoy this season. It is very, very well done. However, this season does take a few liberties from the book itself. Of course, the biggest one to note, in my personal opinion, we don't have the dodgeball scene, which I was kind of looking forward to, but it's okay. In light of the rest of the season, it's overall good. Speaking of which, so is its action. Its action is really good, especially that final battle, that episode. I don't know why, just the action, the way they panned the camera around, the camera work was good. The stunt choreography was really good. They continue to hone in on that, especially as these characters grow and mature into the heroes that we see later on. Like, we see them grow and mature in their fighting, and so it was just really cool to see. I do want to give a special shout out, though, once again, to the cast, which is just absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy them. Of course, Walker Scobell continues to be a big highlight, but I do want to give two special shout outs here. Charlie Bushnell, who plays Luke in this season, my goodness, I enjoyed his performance in season 1. He is even stronger in season 2, and just the emotional range, whether it's anger or it's pain or it's confusion, just what he's able to do with Luke is just fantastic. I absolutely love his portrayal of the character. And speaking of which, Daniel Demir is a fantastic Tyson. I mean, CGI wise, it's also really good. And his character presence is just great. I absolutely love it. I was excited to see how they were going to adapt Tyson in this one, and they absolutely nailed it for me. I loved his portrayal. I thought he was fantastic. I do also love that they continue to, as we grow, or as those who are kind of younger who are watching the show, along with the characters, as everyone kind of grows up with this, they kind of mature the show a little bit. They do take a step forward from last season into this season. Last season very much was a little bit more than a kid's show, but it very much had that kind of kid influence to it. This one is a little bit more, and I love that they did that, just to kind of highlight the impending chaos that is on its way in this season. And so overall, I really enjoyed this season. I don't have many complaints. All the episodes were really, really strong. There's a lot of good moments in here, some good funnies, and just some really great action. The world building continues to be strong. Overall, very enjoyable. If I had kind of one flaw, in my personal opinion, is kind of the impending doom of Kronos. I wish we got a little bit more to that. I mean, he is coming, and that is exciting, but I would have loved just like the music or something to kind of change with that. Would have been really, really cool. But hey, that's just me. I still thoroughly enjoy this season. I actually think this season is much stronger and better compared to season 1. So overall, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. In case you're curious how we review any sort of seasons here on the channel, I go through every episode, I rate each episode individually, and then I kind of add them together, divide by the number of episodes, to get the median score for this season, and it's an 8.5 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm excited about A Titan's Curse, which apparently is coming later on this year, which is bonkers. Very excited about that. They just announced that at the end of this season. So Titan's Curse coming later this year. Cannot wait. So overall, it's an 8 out of 25 on the conviction meter, 8.5 out of 10 in our review. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Let's chat all things Percy Jackson Season 2 in the comments. While you're down there, consider hitting that like and subscribing for us. Joining our community here on YouTube, it just helps send us out into the algorithm and allows us to reach more Christians to help them utilize their convictions in the movies and shows they watch. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with us here. We truly appreciate it. It means the absolute world to us. Before you go, there's a few video recommendations leave over here that YouTube is suggesting to you, one of which is Percy Jackson Season 1. So if you want to see my thoughts on the first season of the show, it's going to be available over there. We'll see you all in the next one.